Ang topic natin ngayong araw na ito ay tungkol pa rin dito sa dito pa rin tayo sa Cabral Files. Pasensya na po kasi ang dami-daming hindi nadi-discuss tungkol doon. And in fact, na thankful ako kasi si former Congressman Mike Defensor, nilagay niya, nag-blow by blow siya on how the whole thing began, no? Wala pa sa Cabral Files, sa flood control pa lang, kinuwento niya uli. And maganda yon na nakikita natin kung ano yung mga previews na nangyari. Plus may categories siya. We'll probably have a look at it later. At it contextualizes kasi everything. So mahalaga na we are aware dun sa mga pangyayari dito kasi I think that once it gets to certain procedures, baka magbago eh. There might be, the narratives might change. Thank you very much kay Ma'am Rosel. The narratives might change, and this is exactly the reason kung bakit kailangan natin pag-usapan yung Cabral Files uli. In fact, the physical files. Tinitingnan ko kasi yung sagutan between Congressman Leviste at saka si Assistant Ombudsman Nico Clavano. And maybe it would be a good idea for us to watch the video of his saan ko nilagay? May video kasi siya. Hindi ko mahanap bigla. Sandali. Ito. I'll put it on screen. May video kasi siya that may video siya na sinasagot niya si Kong Leviste at sinasabi niya na yun nga, yan, lakihan natin. Sinasabi niya, he was saying that hindi daw kumpleto yung files, among other things. Sabi ni Lucky Sprite, I love how Kong Leviste plays mind games with them, nahuhuli sila. It's not even a mind game pero pakinggan natin itong sinabi ni Miko Clavero.
Called Cabral Files. I would like to start by saying that the Office of the Ombudsman recognizes the heightened public interest, the commentaries, and even speculation surrounding the so-called Cabral Files. We reiterate that the shared objective of all concerned institutions and even individuals should be very clear at this point. We need to establish facts. We need to uphold transparency, and we need to hold accountable any individual found to have committed any wrongdoing. So all our actions must lead to these. And so at this point, the office deems it necessary to clarify a few things. First of all, the Office of the Ombudsman has actually been approached by multiple sources claiming to possess copies of the supposed Cabral Files. These claims underscore and really highlight the importance of distinguishing between original evidence on the one hand and secondary or third-party copies on the other hand. Second, the best and most reliable source of documents are actually the agencies and individuals who had custody, who had control and even authorship of the computers, the storage devices, and the files themselves. Evidence that is derived directly from these sources will naturally carry far greater evidentiary value than copies that are circulating outside official custody. Third, the office emphasizes that soft copies of documents held by third parties, especially those in the format of Word or Excel, inherently lose evidentiary credibility as they are susceptible to alteration, incomplete context, or manipulation. As such, these materials cannot, by themselves, be treated as conclusive evidence. Next, after Congressman Leandro Leviste publicly claimed to possess the complete list in the supposed Cabral Files, investigators from the Office of the Ombudsman approached him as a matter of prudence and diligence while the former Undersecretary Kathy Cabral was still alive and was actually represented by counsel at the time. During this engagement, Congressman Leviste presented only limited portions of the list, responsive, in fairness, to specific inquiries. But he did not present the entire set of files he claimed to possess, even when asked to do so. This will differ.
Ito essential to. Sinabi niya, hindi daw prinisinta ni Congressman Leviste yung kumpletong files. But let's look at what's going on from a legal point of view. So, Congressman Leviste announced na meron siyang files at nakuha niya yung files na to kay Yusek Cabral. Buhay pa si Yusek Cabral at the time. When he announced this, hindi nag-deny ang DPWH. Right? He then proceeded he gave a copy to the PCIJ which reported on it. Hindi na naman sumagot ang DPWH. Okay? Take note of these goings on. Finally, in December, nag-post siya on ang partial ng files that he had. Hindi na naman nagsalita ang DPWH. And then sinabi niya na a copy was given to the Office of the Ombudsman by the DPWH. Now, take note that by this time, in December, namatay na po si Yusek Cabral. And therefore, the issue of authenticity suddenly was brought up, particularly in social media. Now, authenticity is a question for the court. Right? Right now, when no investigation or an investigation is being conducted, the importance of the files in the possession of Congressman Leviste is as a starting point for investigation. Hindi pa, there's no court case pa kasi. So, saan ka pa magsasubmit niyan? Isusumiti mo yan sa mga investigador. So, take note, nung una, sabi ng DPWH, wala daw silang binibigay. And then later on, they admitted, merong binigay. Tapos, dinideny naman ni Secretary Vince Dizon. And then, pinilabas ni Congressman Leviste. So, it turns out that he had gotten a copy from the DPWH officially. So, officially, natanggap ni Congressman Leviste yung mga files. So, the way Assistant Ombudsman Miko Clavano is talking, it's as though Congressman Leviste merely has a copy. But if it was a copy, but given in an official capacity by the DPWH, official copy yon. Again, the DPWH does not deny the copy that is received or in the possession of Congressman Leviste. While this was all going on, other files were appearing, supposedly being posted on social media, called the DPWH leaks. They were not precisely the same files as the ones that Congressman Leviste allegedly has. Okay. So, let's continue.
From the congressman's public statements suggesting that the full Cabral files had already been shown to or reviewed by the Office of the Ombudsman. At present, the Central Processing Unit, or the CPU, is now secured, sealed, and under the custody of the Office of the Ombudsman. And the office considers this a critical development as it allows the investigation to proceed on the basis of an original digital piece of evidence.
Okay. At this point, Assistant Ombudsman Miko Clavano makes a distinction now. Para sa kanila, yung original files are the ones in the computer of Yusek Cabral. We're not sure about that. We don't even know if the files that are contained in Yusek Cabral's computer are the files that Congressman Leviste was able to copy. That's not yet established. So, bakit na pinangungunahan ni Assistant Ombudsman Miko Clavano yung files na ito? They're heading towards the point where they will make distinctions. Sabi niya kasi, he laid the predicates. Sabi niya, number one, yung copies are not as good evidence as the original. Totoo yan. However, what he does not state is that it is a rule in evidence na kung hindi na ma-produce yung original, a copy will be acceptable evidence. Okay. So, what he's saying now is, the only evidence that they will consider, or the most important evidence, is what is contained in Yusek Cabral's computer. You know why? Because they will deny some of the items that are listed in Congressman Leviste's own files. Now, sabi ni Assistant Ombudsman na soft copy lang daw ang natanggap ni na Congressman Leviste, and these copies can be changed, can be amended, pwede nilang baguhin. this again sets a predicate. Parang sinasabi niya na kung may pagkakaiba niyan, malamang may iniba dyan, and we have to accept that kung iba yung set nung kay Congressman Leviste, tatanggapin lang nila yung kay Yusek Cabral if there are differences. But please take note, the DPWH itself has never denied the authenticity of the files that are in the possession of Leviste. Never nila sinabi na hindi namin binigay, never nila sinabing that's fake, never nilang sinabi that's not precise, never nilang kinontest yon. They tried. Okay, they tried. So, anong ibig sabihin nito? Ang importante, nilabas ni Congressman Leviste, he established the contents of that file. The Office of the Ombudsman right now is saying, huwag kayong maniwala dyan. Ang paniwalaan lang natin kung ano yung nasa computer ni Yusek Cabral. So, nakikita niyo yan? The reason Congressman Leviste brought it out was because the possibility was already arising na since nasa sole custody na ng ombudsman yung files ni Yusek Cabral, and they themselves were saying the copies could have been changed, they could also change that. Kumbaga, to prevent somebody from claiming that the original files do not contain that evidence, nilabas na niya at in-establish niya. And inadvertently, Secretary Vince Dizon affirmed the statement of Congressman Leviste that number one, these files are real because he has a signature that it was given by the DPWH, and two, that they came from Undersecretary Cabral. Okay. Now, may mga attempts, di ba? May mga attempts to deny or may mga attempts to contest. So ano yung mga contestations na yun? Sinabi nila, inagaw daw ni Congressman Leviste. But kung inagaw niya yon, if there were any acts, disruptive acts, during the time that he received the files, ibig sabihin lang is it was another instance where they did not deny. Kasi it actually upholds the existence of the files, the fact that he got the files and that those files came from the DPWH. The reason gumugulo lang yung kwento or there is an attempt na guluhin ang kwento is because the DPWH does not want to deny the files. They can't anymore dahil pinirmahan nga ito ni Secretary Vince. Pero the ombudsman now is the one who is trying to cast doubt on the files that are in the possession of Congressman Leviste et al. Kasi nag-post siya ng picture na meron ng kopya si Congressman Eli San Fernando at saka si Congressman Kiko Barsaga. So, di ba okay? Masaya. So, kumbaga, first to post si Congressman Leviste. Ang tagal. In fact, the ombudsman has not revealed what were the contents of the computer of Yusek Cabral. Hindi nila sinasabi na nandun yung files na yon. Hindi nila sinasabi na mayroong differences. Ang sinasabi lang nila, yung mga ibang mga files na nandyan, kopya lang yan, nasa amin yung original. Hindi nga ma-deny ng DPWH na accurate yung hawak ni Congressman Leviste, di ba? In fact, yung pinadala nila, may signature ni Secretary Vince Dizon. Ang tanong na lang is kung yung pinadala na may pirma ni Secretary Vince Dizon are the complete set. We don't know that. The point here is sumasali na ang ombudsman sa pagkakast ng doubt doon sa mga hawak ni Congressman Leviste. So, ulitin natin nilabas ni Congressman Leviste, he announced that he has the files, hindi dinenay ng DPWH. He turned over a copy to PCIJ, PCIJ published some of them, hindi dinenay ng DPWH. Pinost nung December, hindi dinenay ng DPWH. Although, dinenay nung una ni Secretary Vince Dizon na siya yung nagbigay o binigay niya. And then, produce yung emails ni Congressman Leviste. So, hindi na nila ma-deny. Ang lumabas na kwento after that, ay inagaw yan ni Congressman Leviste. So, ang purpose ng pagsasabing inagaw yan is para makasuhan si Congressman Leviste ng unruly behavior, disruptive behavior, para makasuhan siya sa Ethics Committee. No, wala pang kaso, but it appears to be in the nature of a threat. Okay. So next na nagsalita, sa Assistant Ombudsman Clavano, sinabi naman ni Clavano, hindi kompleto yung files na binigay at saka prinisinta. Sumagot ngayon si Congressman Leviste, nagpresenta ako, naka-PowerPoint pa and everything, wala ka doon. Kaya hindi mo pwedeng sabihin na hindi kumpleto. Ikaw nga yung wala doon. May listahan pa ako ng mga nag-attend noon. After sinabi ni Congressman Clavano, ni Assistant Ombudsman Clavano yon, sumagot na si Congressman Leviste. Ang sagot ni Assistant Ombudsman, I will not engage. Bakit I will not engage na? Nag-engage ka nga nung una. And then, sinabi ni Congressman Leviste, nilapitan o nag-reach out ang ilang mga taga-ombudsman at nagsabing, Sir, pasensya na, hindi namin alam na maglalabas ng video statement si Assistant Ombudsman. Pasensya na kayo sa kanya. We didn't know about that. We would have told him na about your presentation, he had no idea. And hindi dinaan doon sa ibang mga tao who were present during the presentation. So, dalawang strike si Ombudsman, si Assistant Ombudsman Clavano. Number one, he's already talking about the evidentiary value of the files that are being held by Congressman Leviste when he has not yet established what files are contained in the computer of Undersecretary Cabral. Kumbaga, bakit dinidiscuss mo na yung evidentiary value? We don't even know what is going to be submitted as evidence yet. Diba? Right now, the only thing that they're holding is Yusek Cabral's files. Hindi pa niya naigagawa ng comparative analysis. So, inuunahan niya at pinag-uusapan ito. Wala naman din sinasabi si Congressman Leviste na isusumiti niya bilang ebidensya ito. Pero nilabas na niya yung information because if he had left it only up to the ombudsman, hindi malalaman ng publiko kung ano ang tunay na laman nun. Okay. So, ano ko kasi parang tennis match ito and so far Congressman Leviste is winning. Okay. Hindi ako maka-comment about kung kailan nilibing, kung may lamay, etc. si Undersecretary Cabral because no information is coming out from the family. And I wouldn't blame the family if they want something very, very private considering your circumstances of the demise of Undersecretary Cabral. So, but okay rin lang that you're speculating on that because nga kulang na kulang sa information and I cannot blame anybody who will wonder why isn't it made public. Okay? So, simple lang yan, ha? Simple lang. This is just one instance. Now, later on, if you want, we can have a look dun sa sinasabi ni, a reminder ni former Congressman Mike Defensor as to what initially happened here para hindi tayo magkakalimutan. Sir January, please, wag all caps. Sabi ni Ma'am Bicolanang Makulit, si Clavano din yung nagsabi na DOJ serves as competent judicial authority. Di ko po sinasabing bobo, naalala ko lang. Grabe kayo. Magbarkada daw si Clavano at si Sandro. Talaga? Hindi ko napansin yun. Sabi naman ni Julian's World, sa DOJ, di ba yan yung Clavano dati? Automatic ba na naging partik siya ng ombudsman kung naging ombudsman si Romulia? Ano siya? Kinuha siya talaga ni OMB. So, feel free to listen to itong itong full statement niya. Maikli lang naman, mga 5 minutes lang yan. So, pero nagtaka ako, bakit gumagawa siya ng statement this early in the game, hindi pa nga nila isinasa publiko or hindi pa yata nila. Kasi sabi nila, ayan, it's with them, it's secure, nakalock daw. Di sige, hindi nyo pa pala natitignan kung ano ang laman ng computer ni Undersecretary Cabral. So medyo he's putting the cart before the horse. Bago tayo magpatuloy, huwag pong kakalimutan, like, share, follow, and subscribe. So, para dun sa mga nanonood sa iba, our Facebook page is Luminous by Trixie Cruz Angeles and Ahmed Paglinawan. We also have another Facebook page which is Trixie Cruz Angeles. Our TikTok is at Luminous TCA. And the same for our Rumble, it's at Luminous TCA. Our YouTube is Luminous TCA and AGP. Okay. So, hindi natin sinasabing nagsisinungaling si Assistant Ombudsman Clavano. We're just giving the factual exchange between him and Congressman Leviste and we're asking the question, bakit pinangungunahan niya, nag-evidentiary evaluation siya, wala pa man, di ba? In fact, they haven't even asked for a copy of the complete set of files that Congressman Leviste has. Sabi ni Artuano, nakapagdududa ang relasyon ni Lobender mula sa DOJ, binitbit din hanggang OMB. Well, usually kasi it's trust and confidence yan eh. So, yun ang pinagkakatiwalaan. So, you're allowed naman to do that. Hindi naman yun nakakapagtaka. Kung ako rin yung ombudsman, you would choose somebody that you trust and you have worked with previously. Sabi ni Ma'am Karen, Genius Clavano, who says DOJ is competent judicial authority, na need muna i-present si tatay in his kidnapping. Di ba nag-usap si Dizon at Clavano so they will be on the same script? Dizon was caught. He didn't disagree with the copies of Cabral files already acquired by Leviste. Clavano is so young yet so rotten already. Well, we're not saying that, but he is. May nagtatanong lang tayo, bakit niya sinasabi yung mga ganito? Assistant Ombudsman who acts pagkaaway ang kinasuhan pero bulag pag side ng admin. Ayan. So, let me see. Hi kay Anthony Victorino. Check ko yung comments dito. Uy, maraming salamat sa lahat ng gifters dito sa sa TikTok. Napaka-active. Salamat po. Huwag pong kakalimutan, tap para dun sa likes. Hi, Ma'am Rose L. Thank you very, very much. Kay Ma'am Mavs. Sabi ni Glacia, unti-unti na nag-granting wish ni Cara David. Okay, checking. Sabi ni Ma'am Glacia, enjoy tonight's lecture. Uy, maraming salamat kay Sepen. Thank you very much for that. Hi, Ma'am Alice. Magandang gabi po sa inyo. Ay, tsaka kay Sir Pompoco, maraming salamat po. Sabi ni Bombastic, sana po tanggalin na yung umbang tax para mas onti ang nakawin sa Congress katulad ng property tax. Well, actually, sa local government pumupunta yun. Hindi yan sa national government. So, live po ba yung nagsasalita o recorded earlier? 2 days ago pa yata niya nilabas yan. Hi kay Sir Von. Pompoco, kay Franz, thank you very much. At kay TikTok. Good evening po. Okay, next. Hi kay Kwentong Barangay, bidang-bida. Sobra akong naaaliw kay Kwentong Barangay. Ang cute pero vicious. Vicious in the sense no, not naman vicious kasi ang vicious mean yun eh. Pero very precise, very swak kung sumagot, kakatuwa. Tapos ang cute-cute nila. Gusto, ang mga mosang, grabe. For those na hindi pa nakaka-follow, do follow Kwentong Barangay. Kakatuwa sila. Good morning kay Gentle Cat. Kay Eduarda, good evening. Sabi niya, Attorney Clavano is really trying to discredit the Cabral files na hawak ni Kong Leviste. Oo, dinadahan-dahan lang niya. Very subtle yung approach. Hindi niya talagang binasag kagad. Ang sinabi lang niya is, the best evidence is of course the original, which is contained in the CPU. Paano niya alam? Akala ko ba kinikilatis na ba, na ipresenta na ba, or ano? Hindi pa maliwanag yung part na yan. So, yung VAT sana suspend muna ang VAT. Alam nyo, hindi nakukuha sa sana yan. Sa totoo lang. Alam nyo kung bakit? Ang author ng VAT si Ralph Recto. Nakaupo siya ngayon bilang executive secretary. And before that, he was the DOF secretary. Tingin nyo tatanggalin niya yon in a government that's so cash-strapped because, ang daming leaks eh. Kumbaga, kung saan-saan napupunta, naliligaw na pera ng gobyerno. So, hindi nila, So, hindi yan nadadala sa sana. We should be electing better legislators. Sa totoo lang, ang tagal-tagal na natin alam ito na pinagsasamantalahan tayo ng ating mga mambabatas, pero nauulit yung pag-elect sa kanila. Now, we have some liability, some fault there. Kasi why do we keep voting for them? Pwede namang hindi tayo bumoto doon. Kaya lang, kahit ang konti lang ng bumoto, yung majority will still win. So, kung sakasakaling gusto ninyong i-boycott, dapat 0 vote yan. Sabi ni Ma'am BM, by the way po, bago po ba nawala si Kong Akop, nasagot na niya yung tanong ni Attorney Trixie dun sa definition ng fake news. Wala eh. Sayang, unfinished business yun. Tap naman po dyan, TikTok. Hindi po ba mas lalo nilang pinapatunayan na totoo ang sinasabi ni Kong Leviste sa mga statements na sinasabi nila? Checkmate sila. Yun na nga eh, kumbaga, hindi pa nila natututunan yung less talk, less mistake. Sabi ni Joshua, si Recto lang ang natatanging official na bawal utusan. In fairness, sa sino bang sinabihan niya? Oo nga no. That's still wrong. Sabi ni Standard Banner, umurong agad ang DOJ nung naglabas ng CCTV footage ni Leviste sa ombudsman. So, I know na merong mga nagsasabi na hindi credible si Kong Leviste and all that. Pero para sa akin, this has nothing to do with his personality. I don't care kung he's a college dropout or why he left Yale or anything like that. I don't care. What I do care is about what he is doing right now. Now, there was a time na narinig ko, and this was being shared among circles of media people, other correspondents. Sabi nila, dumating daw si Leviste sa DPWH with bodyguards, tapos nagdidemand daw ng kopya ng files. And as it turns out, tignan ninyo yung CCTV, mag-isa siya dumating. So, nakita natin rin na may mga nauunang mga kwento na panira sa kanya. And possibly naninira because ina-anticipate na ilalabas nga niya at mayroon siyang very credible evidence that would be sufficient at the very least to initiate an investigation. Uulitin ko ha, walang sinasabi si Kong Leviste na isusumiti yung kopya niya as evidence in any criminal case. Pero sinasabi niya may kopya siya. Bakit? Kasi baka biglang ma-magic yung mga laman ng computer ni Undersecretary Cabral. Lalong-lalo na ngayon na pumanaw na siya. She cannot speak up to say na, ay, sinong nagbago niyan? Di ba walang magsasalita ng ganon? So parang it's a warning. I have a copy. Kung ano man ang laman ng computer na yan, and it was only a few weeks or so since months naman. If there are changes made to that to the documents there, then we can actually question, you can impeach the contents of the computer. Bakit? Kasi iba nga yung binigay sa kanya tapos iba yung laman. O, di ba? Kung magkaiba yung laman, does that mean they cancel each other out? No. It's now a question of which is the most credible evidence. Kaya magtataka ka, bakit sinasabi ni Kong Miko, ni Assistant OMB Miko Clavano, na yung original, yan yung mas mabigat ang evidentiary value. Pero it is also entirely possible na in the intervening weeks, from the time that Congressman Leviste obtained his copy and the time that the computer was given to the OMB, it is also possible that it had been tampered with. Pwede rin naman yun. Or pwedeng binago, pwedeng dinilit, pwedeng ang daming pwedeng mangyari. So why is Assistant OMB saying na yun ang mas mabigat at yun lang ang titignan? Diba? So we have to ask that question, why is Assistant Ombudsman discussing this at all? Sila yung sila yung investigator. And since they have not yet established anything, bakit already he's talking about the copy in the possession of Congressman Leviste? So, ayan. And we don't know. Of course, it's also possible. Makikita naman yan sa computer. You'll be able to tell yung kung in-amend, kung binago yung mga documents, matitrace pa rin yan. If any changes had been made. But the computer is in the possession of the OMB. Sabi ni Sweet Dreams, that's why everybody against Leviste is urging him to bring out all the files, but that is not how you fight and how you win against a mafia, a notorious mafia of crooks without brains. Thank you uli, Ma'am Rose L. Sabi ni Ma'am Gracia, may golf pala sa impyerno. Sabi ni Ramil, Madam, puro magnanakaw lahat ng Congress. Sabi ni Silent Guy, kapaniwala paniwala ba si Cabral yung nahulog sa bangin? Wala akong judgment call on that one. So, parang ang tingin ko, well, binase daw nila doon sa injuries niya. Right now, in the absence of other physical evidence, yun lang po ang alam natin. But feel free to speculate now kasi nga, hindi ka panipaniwala yung source. Hi kay yours. Thank you kay. Sabi ni si Monster, single po ba si cutie Congressman Leviste? Check natin. Anong Leandro? Ala, it's in the Google search. Walang nakalagay. Walang hindi ko po alam. Walang lumilitaw eh. But we don't know. He's 32 years old, by the way. Cute. Taka-cutean kayo. Sabi ni Levi, ang problema po kasi wala tayong tiwala sa gobyerno, correct? Tapos sila pa yung nag-iimbesti. I understand. Bakit ako ang sasagot? Sabi ni Steve, ano po kaya ang sagot po ninyo kung bakit ginawa ni Clavanio yung pangunguna? Ako nga yung nagtatanong at tinatanong ko sa kanya, bakit ako ang sasagot? Sabi ni Standard Bearer, pati yung ethics complaint sa kanya, ang tagal, natatakot sila sa mga reserba ni Leviste, nag-aantay lang si Leviste ng tamang timing and form para ilabas lahat. Pwede, posible yun. Sabi ni Strictly, ang tanga ng admin na to, grabe ha, diretso yan. Given their current trust rating, kung anuman maging discrepancy between Kong Leviste and the copy na nasa PC will only enhance doubt instead of reinforcing their argument. Sabi ni Emerito, how to that Boying Rimulya passed away, wala po tayong nakikitang official announcement of that. So the presumption is it's not true. Sabi ni paring Mark, hopefully ma'am, kapag naupo na si VP Sara, sana maisulong ang death penalty para sa plunder at rape. Well, the president is not a lawmaker, so it will depend kung ilan ang kakampi niya sa Kongreso. Sa mga, sabi ni Bez, sa mga nagaganap sa ating bansa, pwede rin po bang gawin ni Trump sa Pilipinas ang ginawa sa Venezuela? May oil reserves din ba tayo na 300 billion worth? I mean, ano yung reason bakit niya gagawin dito, if ever? No, we're talking possibilities. So sige, mag-speculate na naman tayo. Kaya ba ni Trump na gawin yan dito sa Pilipinas? The question is, what would be the underlying reason for that? Ano yung meron ng Pilipinas that they would really want so that they would use the drug war to as a cover for it? Kasi sa totoo lang, binigay naman ni BBM lahat ng gusto ng US eh. So anong reason nilang pasukin pa tayo that way? Sabi ni Ma'am BM, unsolicited advice kay Junior. Kunin niyang advisor si Lito Lapid, malay niya tumaas yung konti ng ratings niya from -3 maging -2 na lang. Excuse me, -14. Ay, oo nga pala. Sorry, thank you kay Julian's World. Sabi ni Levi, hindi gagawin niya ni Trump unless totally gusto niya na gawin na tong bansa natin as a military base nila. Ako, ang tingin ko, nakuha na nila lahat. Pumayag si BBM sa lahat ng hiningi. So, in fact, tingnan nyo, meron pang statement si Secretary Gibo about the possibility na magkagulo sa Taiwan. Bakit siya gagawa ng mga statement na ganyan? Is he laying the predicate for something? Anong take nyo sa possible impeachment versus BBM? May magsasampa kaya? May mga nag-iingay na magsasampa pero nagdududa ako sa kanila. Magsasampa ka, hindi ka ready, hindi ka nagbilang ng mga congressman. So ano yun? Magfa-file ka in the hopes of convincing the congressmen na to see things your way? Normally yan, binilang mo na yan. Kung gagawin nila tapos hindi sila preparado, baka mabigla sila. Or baka ang intention is to inoculate the president para for 1 year, hindi na siya makakasuhan ng impeachment. So I don't think Trump would be interested in doing the same thing in the Philippines because we've given them everything that they want. So, at our expense yan ha, at our expense. Humingi siya ng mga pabor, imbis na hingin niya yung mas mababang taripa, imbis na humingi siya ng favored nation status or whatever, or humingi siya ng upa para dun sa mga paggamit ng mga military bases natin, hindi. They just, puro parang sarili. Sabi ni Sherwin, if comes VP Sara as president to 2028, tatanggalin na ang liquidation by certification ng Congress from both houses. I don't know. I don't know that she will do that because number one, ang presidente hindi congressman. Hindi siya senador. Hindi siya ang gumagawa ng batas. Kung mayroon siyang gagawin ang legislature, pero mayroon siyang gusto na gagawin ng legislature, that will require either political will or political capital. Meaning, sige, gagawin ko ito, gawin nyo ito. It's all about, this is how politics is done. Wag naman po tayong rose-colored glasses yung iniisip natin na just because VP Inday is there, all of our problems are going to disappear. Kayo na nga yung nagsabi, mahirap ang trabaho niya pagka umupo siya dahil ang dami ng damage na ginawa ni BBM. Don't also think that she has a magic wand and that everything will be all right. Kasi tingnan nyo, pag pinatanggal niya yung certification, yung liquidation by certification of the two houses, ano ang sisingilin nila kay VP Inday? 'Di ba? Pwede silang mag-alboroto. Pwede silang, sige, bibilangin namin yan, isang kasalanan mo na sa amin. Iipunin nila yan. Pagkatapos, when somebody has the bright idea na i-impeach si Presidente Inday, sa tingin ninyo? 'Di ba? Let's not automatically assume these things. Pag trinabaho ni Presidente Inday, good, happy tayo. Pero kung hindi, it will be dependent kasi on the dynamic between the presidency and the legislature. So, wag natin siyang unahan. Sabi ni Christianism, nasa consti po ba yung liquidation by certification lang ang need ng both chambers? No, but it is in the Constitution that they can make their own rules. It is in the Constitution that they can make their own laws. Hindi niyo ba napansin na sa tagal na ng issue na yan, walang nagdadala sa Korte Suprema? So, I'm sorry, this is real talk. You may not want to hear it, but these are the hard facts. Wala siya sa Constitution, pero given yung rule-making powers nila, given yung law-making powers nila. Kaya nga matagal ko nang sinasabi, one of the most powerful branches, the most powerful branch in government right now is the legislature. So, kaya nagtataka ako, bakit gusto ninyo ng parliamentary, you're just going to institutionalize the power of the legislature and even expand it. Considering yung mga personalities ng mga nakaupo, kasi distrito ang mga nag-boboto sa kanila, sa tingin ninyo, it's going to be better? Real talk lang. I mean, this is how politics are conducted. Kailangan hindi tayo, yung kumbaga, tanggapin natin kung ano yung realidad. Yes, mahihirapan si VP Inday and it will depend largely kung marami siyang kakampi sa House or if she will need to spend some time and some effort and maybe some resources into getting them to on her side. Then she can ask them to correct things. Sabi ni paring Mark, yung dating dapat isasampa ng Duterte na impeachment versus BBM, ano kayang balita doon? Wala nga po. Look, sa tingin niyo kung may balita, hindi ko pa nasabi sa inyo yan. Wala po. Walang nangyari doon kasi hindi nga yan na isumiti. Magkakabalita lang kung isinumiti yan. Hindi tinanggap. They submitted it and the SecGen did not receive it. Okay, so paano magkakabalita? Anong gagalawin doon sa Kongreso? Wala namang complaint. Sorry, medyo ang taray nung dating nun. Sorry po. Sabi ni Bless and Love 999, I think baon pa tayo sa mga corrupt leaders, mahirap pa rin talaga ngayon maayos ang Pilipinas. Hindi ko sinasabing imposible. Ang sinasabi ko is, this is how it's going to be conducted. So, ang gagawin ni Presidente Inday, pag presidente na siya, magka-prioritize siya. Anong uunahin niya? Siyempre, ito ang nakikita ko, healthcare, education, ano pa ba? siguro itutuloy yung tax reform. 'Di ba? Yung mga things that na mag-aangat sa atin, yung things that will improve not just the quality of life, pero iaangat tayo out of poverty. The other thing that she needs to focus on, which I think she is going to do, is to create a level playing field para maging oligarko ka man o bagong salta na na negosyante, lahat kayo may capability, lahat kayo patas, pantay-pantay. Hindi na poprotektahan ang mga big businesses simply because they're big businesses, 'di ba? Or because malakas sila magbigay sa sa kampanya. 'Di ba? 'Yun yung mahalaga. The reforms na kailangan unahin niya are those na mag-aangat sa atin out of poverty, out of ignorance, out of powerlessness. Pag na-empower niya ang ordinaryong mamamayan, madidikta na. Tao na yung hihingi at sasabihin sa Kongreso, hindi pa ba kayo nahihiya sa liquidation by certification ninyo? 'Di ba? So, it's strategy. Lahat ng mga changes na gagawin ng incoming president will be strategically planned. Kasi you don't get something for nothing. You don't get, buti sana kung diktador siya. Kung diktador siya, edi utos na lang yan. Pero given the current constitution, given the real politics that is going on, wag tayong wag tayong yung kumbaga assuming na everything will be solved simply because si Inday yung nakaupo. Her work is cut out for her. It isn't about just simply na dinidrain ng mga Marcoses and other politicians yung kaban ng bayan. It isn't even that eh. It's yung matitigas na ulo ng mga kalaban ng mga politiko who will manage to survive, manage to get themselves elected, who will be there lying in wait for her. You think tapos na yung giyera simply because umupo siyang presidente? Hindi. Ang difference is, si BBM mo lang kakampi kasi wala naman siyang ginagawa para sa atin. Si Inday, alam natin, yung kanyang track record, alam natin na yung gabay at utos ng tatay niya is unahin yung taong bayan. We know na based on that, she will be doing the tough things, make the tough changes para sa atin. Hi Julius, sabi niya pa shoutout kay Paul Paris, Argel Montemayor, and John Manuel Maranan. Hi po, fellow DDS. Nax. Thank you very much. Nagstay sila sa house. Oh, belated happy birthday, Jules. Pero nag-happy birthday naman ako sa'yo, di ba? So, guys, pakibati si Jules. His birthday was last January 2. And Julius is my fellow Santero and acupuncturist. Totoo, sabi ni Vlogon, okay sana parliamentary kung righteous at may delikadesa ang mga politiko natin, kaso halos puro buhaya. Hindi naman, what we have to spend our time and resources on doing is how do we get the good ones? How do we elect the ones who truly want to serve? And how can we make it level? Kasi sa totoo lang, sa ngayon, isipin niyo, paano ka ma-elect kung hindi ka gazillionaire? Diba? Sabi ni Daddy Red, if VP Sara wins as president and she offers you a position, would you kindly accept it? I will not presume that she will ask, but I will do everything in my power to help her. Sabi ni paring Mark, hopefully i-refile ng Duterte Youth, baka sakaling lumusot. But is that really a way to file an impeachment? Para sa akin kung nagbilang sila, kung meron silang kasi unang-una, to file it, dahil hindi sila member ng Congress ngayon, ang Duterte Youth, kailangan may mag-i-endorse na congressman. Pwedeng isa lang, sa totoo lang. So, pwede yung ma-endorse. Pero, titingnan din ng mga kongresista, may chance ba to? If there is not even a snowball's chance in hell, it's possible na mahirapan sila maghanap na mag-i-endorse. On the other hand, kung, alam nyo, kahit hindi sila umabot ng 1/3 sa umpisa, tingin ko, kung matindi yung hawak na ebidensya, we will be able to convince yung mga fence-sitters dyan. Long hours. May nagre-reklamo yata na mahaba yung live ko. Sabi ni Chris Prepenya, sana po mga taga-TikTok app, wag payagan yung ganitong long hours. Anong ibig sabihin ng ganitong long hours? What's he trying to say? Let FL says, it's been a while na nakaabot ng live again. Hi, bon ami, Annie. Happy New Year. Christian says, pero kontrolado pa rin ng presidente ang lower house po. Sino may sabi? This president, you mean? No, this is what he has. He controls the majority. Kasi yung speaker, sa totoo lang, different yung si Speaker D, he's not the same as as former House Speaker Martin Romualdez, but you're right, he's still allied with the president. And that's a big plus in their favor. Natawa ako. Sabi ni Strictly, ayaw niya ng live nyo taking up space sa TikTok. Taking up space? Bakit? Limitado ba yung number of people na pwedeng mag-live? Di ba hindi naman? Hindi lang yun. TikTok always encourages long lives. In fact, pagka natatapos yung live and I click the end, parating nagsasabi, you still have 200 people watching your live. Wag daw munang umalis. So, it's really weird the way he's trying to say it. Parang natatakot siya na diretsang sabihin na wag sana akong payagan mag-live. Sabi ni Jonathan, edi feel free to scroll up. Sabi ni Jonathan, nanonood ka dito tapos galit ka sa long hours. Ano ba? Sabi ni Ma'am Gracia, nagrereklamo di sumusunod sa simple live rules. Sabi ni Ma'am Irene, basher yan, BBM supporter yan. Nakakatawa.